Boy, that took a minute there. But I promise you I'll make up for it here because we are live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. And, well, this man is, well, maybe the definition of all of it because he brings all of that to the table because you know what he's been a part of in GTS. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that Wrestlers Court that we saw not too long ago. I'll talk about Emily Saxton. I'll most certainly talk about some places that you've seen him in Matt Pro Wrestling. You know I have to bring up TF Crew because we have another show, and yours truly is going to be a sponsor to that show, and I got to get into that without, well, spoiling it. And we got a place, well, hopefully Mother Nature. Well, Mother Nature can't beat a shark, so even Mother Nature tries this coming weekend. Not so fast. It's not going to happen because we're going to see this man once again in the Garden State. But I think Sharks can certainly cut through Garden States and Old Man Winter. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about some other things. We'll talk about some familiar faces. And we must now give this introduction. Now, he may be an American muscle shark. And I have had on Mr. Mark Farner, who, after all, wrote the song, We're an American Band. So I'm going to try my best to give this man that same intro that I gave the one and only Mark Farner. But now it is time to introduce this man. I'm excited because it's not too often I get to get new guys here on Sportswire Radio and really show off and tell the world why this man is the American Muscle Shark. But enough about me. It's now time to get to this man and give him that introduction to start this week off here in style on Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report, #1 Swatcha, the man that is the reigning, defending GTS United States champion. His name is simply put, the man that can put down jaws, the American Muscle Shark, Mark the Shark! The champ is here! My friend, how are we doing?
Tom, I'm fantastic. I don't know if I can match your energy on that one, man. That was a hell of an introduction. Wow. Way to bring in the star power. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, you know what? I got to do that because my last 3 guests on Sportswire, literally, I had Joe Hoekstra from Whitesnake. Everybody knows This Is Love and Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I had Mark Farner, who I mentioned. We're an American band. You're the American Muscle Shark. And I had Lorraine Lewis before you and her, well, let's just say big assets. And, she's a big rock and roll star in her own right. And, she was on a TV show where Adam Sandler got his debut. And don't tell mom the babysitter's dead. But I didn't have a babysitter, and the babysitter's dead anyway after that intro. And, so I got to do my best to follow those 3 shows in a row. And you're just the man to do it.
That's incredible. I hope I live up to the guests that you've had on before me.
No, that's okay. You definitely will because I think people now want to see me live. I have a young lady here, Maria, who's like, oh, when do you go live? And now I am here and, my usual people in the chat. So, no, it's great to have them. And, we appreciate the rock and roll. So we wouldn't be there without the wrestlers. I want to give you the opportunity, the American Muscle Shark, Mark the Shark. Let's set the tables here. And for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform you helped build here and bring Sharks to circle in. Talk to me about what happened there in Wrestlers Court.
Oh, well, Wrestlers Court, that was a wild situation. Emily Saxton, my
I know Emily. I know Emily
of pretty jacked. Yeah, every
Yes.
week on GTS, it's been a
Yes.
long going story. We're at odds right now, and she's challenging for my U.S. championship. Um, but every week we're supposed to be having this match. She keeps dodging me. 1 week it's wrestler's court. If you watch GTS tonight, she tried to bring me cookies as a peace offering. Come to find out, they were laced with laxatives. So the
Oh
episode
God.
closes with me on the toilet just shitting my brains out. So when me and Emily Saxon step in the ring, she's got a receipt coming her way.
Oh, this is what it's funny, and I was out yesterday, eating dinner in beautiful Diker Heights, Brooklyn, and my two friends and I, they had dessert. And they go, "Oh, you want dessert, Tom?" I'm like, "No, I'm good," because for that reason, why, Mark the Shark? Because I'm terrified about going into a fancy restaurant, a boutique Italian restaurant, where a lot of Italians still are in beautiful Diker Heights, and you obviously had to face that wrath. But I mean, certainly. You've been dealing with this, and I guess this championship you have has maybe been pulling you two apart, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want it to happen this way. We were the GTS Tag Team Champions earlier this year,
Yep.
or late last year, and yeah, we had a good thing going, but Emily Saxon just dead weight. I'm the American Muscle Shark. I could carry you pretty far, but at some point you got to carry your own weight. Here at Ice T Curtis.
Well, I mean, Emily certainly, is dodging, I guess, the obvious. I mean, do you expect eventually this will all come to a head? And obviously, I forgot I put the footage up here because people might want to see actually what went on not too long ago, and end up, there it was. I mean, I would have to assume, Mark the Shark, you may be the American Muscle Shark, but I would have to assume this is the first time you've been on, let's say, a trial for a wrestler's court.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely unique. It's not something, in the business that we televise but this kind of stuff happens all the time. If someone does something wrong in wrestling, they got to pay the price, they got to.
Yeah, well, we know
that,
backstage behind the scenes. I mean, I get some of that, but this is the first time, we're seeing this, a part of GTS that you're on wrestler's court.
Yeah,
and that's why I have to imagine this would be a first and hopefully an only time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here to wrestle, these kind of shenanigans that Emily Saxon's just been throwing in front of me she's ducking me, she knows that a lariat is coming her way. I'm not going to go easy on her, so she's scared, and it's clear with, the silly nonsense of bringing me on wrestler's court. When the only thing I'm guilty of is being a great friend and tag team partner to her, and she's guilty of just being the drizzling shits. Like, let's be honest,
Well, I wasn't going to bring it up, but now I am because, as I'm sure you may be aware of, Mr. Sayers was on here not too long ago before Syndicate Siege, and your tag team partner had come up, and that was the word Mr. Sayers had used, and also he had called her a Karen. Now, for those that may or may not be familiar with that term, that is obviously a term that you may want to say describes your tag team partner. So I would imagine that term that Mr. Sayers had brought up here in Sportswire, you may have an opinion on.
Yeah, I echo Gabe Sayers' sentiments. She is a Karen. I mean, you talk to her for 3 minutes and not even, and you would know that she is that person who's going to complain to the manager. Nothing's ever good enough for her. And I got tired of it. I'm a patient person, patience is a learned skill, and my patience is.
Yeah, what was the old term? And when I was in law school and college, I think it was patience is a virtue. So you may have that, but obviously, this is the footage that we showed here, and I had seen it in the back and forth, and I mean, we actually have done this yesterday, but I had something that had come up, which I'll talk about at a different time. But we're glad to have you here today. But I mean, how much longer can this go on, you think, between you and Emily?
I don't know. I refer to her on Twitter as the finish line because I can't wait to run into her. It's one of those things. She's going to get her comeuppance. Karma's going to catch up to her, and karma in the form of a very stiff lariat. That's, it's me retaining that U.S. championship. She's going to have to kill me to take it. That goes for everybody on the GTS roster,
Yeah, well, absolutely. But I got to ask you the obvious that unfortunately you got hit in the, let's just say, as to quote the famous Howard Stern movie, private parts. You had, some would say, the jewels, the grapefruits, but those were the private parts of the United States champion. And obviously there is Miss Saxton who took your championship and held it in front of you. And there you obviously got back up. But I guess I have to ask you then, what does it mean to you to be the GTS United States champion?
It means everything, as the American muscle
Yeah.
shark, I will, defend this across all 50 states in any country that will have me. It means a lot to me to be the GTS United States Championship. I won it at Christmas Chaos, which,
Yes.
I just so happened to open the Christmas present that was United States Championship. It was very fitting. But it means a lot to me. And, again, Emily Saxon's going to get a receipt for kicking me in between the legs, hitting me with
Yeah, well,
arm, which is so,
that's a bit unfair. I mean, listen, I mean,
yeah.
it's one thing to do maybe a punch in the face or something, or a clothesline or something, but I mean, to do what we just saw there, I mean, that's definitely guilty, and we gotta just throw the book there after what if that should be the order there. The verdict should be guilty. I mean,
I agree.
guilty, guilty,
I agree.
guilty.
Justice needs to be served here. She
Well, it's
poisoned
it's the
cookies.
American
She's very
way.
evil.
But they say
Right.
justice is served as the American way.
I agree. I agree. Emily Saxton, she's got a debt to society to pay, and that's for
Oh boy, debts, and it's not Greenland. It's apparently debts to Mr. Mark the Shark. And it's funny you said 50 states and going to other countries. I'm sure I could certainly help you with that. And obviously we're very happy to have you on here. And I mean, you had also talked about winning that championship at Christmas Cast, and I was going to put the footage up of you and Emily in that Rumble. I'm sure you have your thought or two. You remember that because I really thought our audience should see some of that in the Rumble, and because obviously that's where things really got, I think, even further interesting between you two. And and I see some other people that are here in the chat that I'm sure you may know a bit, but I'm going to put it up here and ask your reactions to that, and
sure.
get to some. Oh, I'm sure you want to certainly have the Shark Circle here, but let's do that, and I'll put the footage. Yeah, I tell you what, you got one of the best names in all of wrestling. We're certainly glad to have you here. We would thank Mr. Sayers for that opportunity. He's a good businessman, but nevertheless, you're here in the Rumble. There is your tag team partner, and obviously, you for now get your hands on Emily or get your feet on Emily. Really, that makes more sense.
Yeah, she just has a target, and I'm I'm not gonna
Yeah,
stop until I get my hands on her. Yeah, you see here, stiffing me obviously,
I could see that. I could see
having
that.
to
Yeah.
resort to choking and just fighting
Wow.
dirty. There's a nice overhand
Ah.
shot. Yeah, I mean,
Ah.
there's plenty of more where that came from.
Hey, there's Louis Jr. by the way. Man, I've talked about Louis Jr. a lot the past year, and he's there in the Rumble. I think Louis Jr. is here, and I mean, you're certainly going, but you're going after Emily, and boy, even though you're tag team partners, that had to felt good for you there, Mark the Shark.
Oh yeah, I've been wanting to do that a long time, long before the tag team breakup. I've been wanting to just sack Saxton in the face one time.
The Sax, that's a good line there, Saxton.
That's it.
You should use that.
I just did.
You should. You should. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's certainly going on here, and you've got your hands. I think you got your hands on Louis Jr. there, who's obviously in his own right a very difficult competitor, and there is Emily on the apron, and trying to survive, and there you are, and you're going back and forth there. You got to figure out what to do. Maybe that was the best move, although I think you were eyeing Emily to sack the Saxton, but Louis Jr. is a difficult competitor, and he's very hardcore, and maybe that's the best move to go for the size.
Yeah, Louis is a tank, so we all had a team up in there.
Yes.
And this was
Yeah.
the preview for the Regal Rumble. The Regal Rumble is coming up still, so no one
Yep.
really knows how we're going to eliminate Louis Jr. because it's extremely difficult to do, as you said, doing our best there.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that's what they always say in Rumbles. Guys like this are some of the most difficult ones for obvious reasons and such. And there is the man himself, Mr. Grimm, obviously, and he's
Grimster,
out
yeah,
there.
holding
Yeah,
up
well,
there.
Grimmomania, it's running wild. I mean, what you gonna do? But I mean, obviously, but there's Emily, and Emily disrupt everything. Yeah. Well, I think she's being disrupted in her thought right now, and we're seeing a sumo match, and not to be confused with Yokozuna and Earthquake or Big Show and Akebono all those years
Yes,
ago.
I was
But
gonna say.
yeah, I try to throw some terms out there once in a while. But if you are here out there, hit the sub button for GTS, hit the sub button for
Yes.
us, and we'll get to everybody here in the chat in a bit. And we're very honored to have on the GTS United States champion, the American Muscle Shark, Mark the Shark. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, and there is Emily. And boy, Emily's confused, but it looks like
There she
you
goes.
got some revenge there. You got some revenge. You got some revenge. And Emily is, well, disrupted, but unfortunately, you've now got your own issue, and
Yeah,
maybe
there go.
you should have just not turned your back
I
because,
shouldn't. Yeah, Adam Bazaar in there. He's not one to mess with,
well, I mean, you should have focused on there because you turned around and you got a short-term victory, but a long-term loss, and that was obviously where it all ended, in the ring between you two. And obviously, I guess we'll have to see what the future may hold between you and Emily. And obviously, I know there's a show that aired today, and I'll put some of that footage up to remind the audience and such. And we want to get to some other things with you because you have some places to go to, which I want to promote and talk about because I'm excited when guys come in here for the first time, but also have some places that they're going to be going to. So let's do that here. Because from my understanding, Mark the Shark, that the Sharks are going to be circling the great state of New Jersey here on the 24th, and you are going to be here in TCW, so Titan Championship Wrestling, and talk to me about what's ahead here coming up.
Yes, sir. This Saturday night, Zach Ruby and myself, we're in between
Yeah, I know
names.
Zach.
We're talking between the Bling and the Bite, the Jaws and the Jewel. The greatest tag team ever made is coming together for the first time. We're taking on Johnny Vega and Blocks. I'm not super familiar with either guy, but we're not too worried about him. I mean, Zach, I've known for a little while now. He's young, up and coming talent. The Gem, the greatest ever made, teaming with the American Muscle Shark. I think we're going to steamroll the entire tag team division at Titan Championship Wrestling. They're definitely put on notice. I've got a lot of experience as a tag team wrestler. So
we know that, obviously, GTS and elsewhere. We certainly know those things.
Yeah, most of my career has been tag team wrestling, so I think Zach Ruby and I are going to be an unstoppable force on the independents for a long, long time.
Absolutely. That's exciting too, right? To be a part of, different places and such. And obviously, what's ahead here in TCW, I think, definitely will set the stage for a big 2026 for you, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I love tag team wrestling. Emily Saxton, obviously, not
Yes.
up to snuff to be my tag team partner anymore. So someone like Zach Ruby, I think he's going to be a good fit, a good tag partner to have my back out there.
Well, that's going to certainly be the case. And you can follow TCW Titan Championship Wrestling here on Instagram. I'm also going to put you here for Mark the Shark's Instagram. And if you'd like to follow Mark, there he is. And let's get him some more followers because obviously he needs some more followers. And there's some footage to remind you. Going back to Emily, we'll certainly remind you of this footage. And there that was. Yeah, there that was. And obviously, let's just say I don't think that Miss Saxton was eating any of that, but I'm sure that was very happy. But Miss Saxton had put out some of her own comments and wasn't too happy. Again, going back to that term, sack the Saxton and a Karen, and she obviously didn't seem to enjoy the cake in the face.
Yeah, a lot of people felt bad for Emily here, but this was not unprovoked. Emily has been a thorn in my side, and this is just a small taste of what she's going to get when we face each other one-on-one.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. And, Mark, I wanted to ask you, because obviously now you're doing a lot of different things. What are your goals here from 2026? What are some goals coming up for you this year?
2026, I definitely want to branch out. I just came back to wrestling back in August after a 5-year absence. So this time around, I want to do a lot of things differently. I'd like to wrestle in all 50 states. I'd like to travel as much as I can and kind of spread my wings out there and work for some new companies and face some new talent. There's independent wrestling, even though a lot of people are getting signed now to WWE, AEW, and TNA.
Yes, I did see the news now that WWE is looking to focus more on bringing in independent wrestlers. I saw that obviously in the WWE ID program as well.
Yeah, and even with all those great talent that are under the WWE umbrella now, there's still a lot of great independent talent out there, and I want to wrestle them all. So I'm really
and 50 states. It's a great idea to go and wrestle in all 50 states. I mean, my first thought was, does Alaska have wrestling?
Oh, it does. Yeah,
Really?
Club, which is based out of New Jersey, they run Alaska, I think once or twice a year. So
I tell you who
not
I got to
completely out of
connect
the
you
realm
with.
of possibilities.
I tell you, I got to connect with my buddy Chris Urban, who's wrestling in, I think, Intense Wrestling, the IWA in Jersey, and
Okay.
he's wrestling this weekend. He's the Urban Warrior. I got to connect you with
Okay.
him because he's wrestling some different places. But yeah, my first thought was Alaska. How are you going to accomplish Alaska?
Yeah,
But that's where,
Alaska and Hawaii will be the tough ones, but
yeah, I was going to say Hawaii was the next one. I was going to say, how are you
yeah.
going to accomplish Hawaii? And that's a really, interesting thought. That's a really clever idea. What did you learn from the 5 years away in wrestling?
Um, just a little bit more maturity as a human being, and
Hey, I'm
patience.
still not mature.
Yeah.
My lovely
Oh, me.
friend Maria's here, and I'm still not mature. Even though I get all these big rock stars on here,
Yeah, we never
it's not
grow. We're
working
just big
for me.
kids, you know. We just
Yeah,
have beards
exactly.
now.
I
But
never age.
yeah, I just think that in that time I just got a lot of perspective, and I'm a lot more appreciative and grateful this time around than I was starting out as a 16-year-old kid. Getting a lot of big opportunities in a short amount of time. Kind of spoiled rotten, I think, a little bit, maybe. you
No, it
know,
happens. You know what?
looking back
Sometimes,
in that time,
yeah,
compared to now.
sometimes it's like anything else in life. Sometimes you're not ready. You're not ready for the moment, and you need to kind of maybe take a step back and evaluate what you learned and what you could do differently, what you could do better. So I think it's an interesting, scenario that you were in, and I think it's going to prepare you for some great things. And certainly being a part of GTS and the success. Obviously, guys like Gabe have been in GTS, have been here many times. Mikey Anarchy and this guy Jimmy Controversy, which we're going to talk about next in a
Jimmy,
few
yeah.
minutes. Yeah, we got a bunch of the people in GTS on here, but I got to talk about a place that I just saw you read. I'm going to put the poster up for it because I've done some work with them, and Matt Pro Wrestling. So what happened there without getting into it? Because I saw you were there in Matt Pro Wrestling 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Matt Pro Wrestling, a nice operation here in Brick, New Jersey.
Yes,
I wrestled Mikey Midnight and Rex
I know
Griffin.
Mikey Midnight. Yeah, I know Mikey.
Yeah. Triple threat action, and after the match, Rex Griffin there, I'm not too familiar with him, luchador mask on, and I just peeled that mask off and kind of kept it as a trophy, just a little reminder of what the Shark is capable of out there.
Well, sharks do certainly circle, and they do circle the like pariahs, and you are a shark. And after all, I mean, we know that when those sharks bite, I mean, they definitely they don't miss, and they do eat them all. I mean, like Pokemon, got to catch them all, and you did there. And I mean, I would imagine you still have that mask then.
I do. It's
Oh
right
shoot!
here to the
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? I didn't expect that one. And Mark the Shark does have the mask he stole last Saturday in Matt Pro Wrestling. Boy, who would have guessed that? Oh, he's biting it. He is a shark after all. He tasted it. Charlie Sheen had tiger blood, but instead, Mark the Shark has shark blood.
That's right. The shark beats them all, and the shark eats them all. Everybody knows.
Well, you know what, boy? You know what? My mom did love seeing Jaws, and she saw where Jaws was filmed, and I'm never going to go see that after what Mark the Shark did. I'm not getting on his bad side. And you can see it there. He's got that mess. My friend Maria watching this is probably now gonna want to talk to you and DM you about sharks, and everybody here in this chat. That's crazy. That's crazy. But, boy, I hope to see you back in Matt Pro Wrestling with that mask, and who knows who else you might bite.
That's it. If you're a luchador, you're not safe from the American Muscle Shark. He's gonna unmask
I don't
you and
think
expose
anybody's
you.
safe. I'm not safe, and I'm terrified right now. I mean, boy, I'm not getting on your bad side today. And yeah, I mean, he is a good guy shark on a world tour, and he does really want to go on a world tour, and that's why you got to go check him out on Instagram here. And obviously, maybe I'll get to some of the chat here to break things up because there's people that want to talk to you. They want to talk about thing I'm really interested in, which is coming up on February the 15th, the TF Crew's next show. You were at that first one, and let me go do that here now because I see some people that want to talk to you. Zilla's here first. Zilla would like to say hello to Mark the Shark. Nice to meet you, Mark the Shark, and thank you, Zilla. And there was Marie. Thank you. Also, yes, and who else we have here in the chat? Speaking of people that you had just showed footage with, Mr. Louis Jr. himself, Mark the Shark, one of the best out there today. Support him everywhere he goes. I've had battles with this man many times. Love you, Brother Shark, and keep showing the world what you're not. My first thought is, now, I've seen Louis in the ring a bit. I've seen him definitely in GTS, TF Crew, a number of other places, but is that blood from your shark bites?
I can't confirm or deny if that was from one of our encounters. There was some blood spilt when we met in the ring. I can't
Well,
I can't
shark
say for
blood. I mean,
certain if that
listen,
was me or
listen. Like I
not. I
said,
can't.
Charlie Sheen famously had that tiger blood. You got the shark blood. I mean, boy, that's crazy,
Yeah, it's gonna
crazy,
take a little bit
crazy.
more than blood to scare away the shark.
Yeah,
I would
well,
say that.
and
Yeah.
yeah, well, good point. Duly noted. There you go. The shark beats all of them
There you
and
go.
eats them all. And yes, you do eat them all. Literally. I
Everybody
mean,
knows
boy.
it's always Shark Week around here. 24/7,
Who
365.
was it that was it Sci-Fi that used to do Shark Week? Was it Sci-Fi that used to do? I remember watching that. It was Sci-Fi because ECW used to be on the Sci-Fi channel. I think it was either Sci-Fi or the National Geographic. And I
I
remember
think Nat Geo. They still do it.
I
Still
yeah, I
have.
think Nat Geo
It's
did it
always
because
Shark Week to
you
me
know
too.
why?
But
Because
yeah.
my dad used to watch that stuff when he was alive. He would sit there and he would watch that. I mean, he was a man that certainly was vicious. He was a vicious fellow. I mean, he was from Brooklyn, New York, and a vicious man. But you're a lot more vicious than him. That's why you God rest his soul. You're Mark the Shark. It is the muscle shark, baby. That's what he is. He is definitely the muscle shark, and we've brought in the muscles here. And speaking of people, my WVWF King of the Mountain champion himself, Mr. Cody Maverick, is what's up, Shark? And I know he's talked about GTS in the past. And
Oh,
and
he's got a
speaking, yeah,
championship, huh?
yes, he's the
That's
WV.
very
You
interesting.
could say, you know what? That's a great point because you've talked about the 50 state tour. Now, I know you've been a busy man. I know New Jersey. I know you've been in Connecticut. I know you say Alaska, you got to in through the door. But what about the good state of West Virginia and the WVWF? I have many friends that come on from the good state of West Virginia. In fact, I even know the address of the building that they wrestle in, 325 7th Street, the Richardson building in Parkersburg, West Virginia. I could even give you directions on how to get there. And I'm in New York City. I've never been there. And this guy's their King of the Mountain champion.
Hey, Country Roads take me home. King, what was the championship belt?
He's the King of the Mountain champion.
King of the Mountain championship.
The West Virginia Wrestling Federation King of the Mountain champion.
Maverick, I would love to take that belt off you, pal. So have your people call my people. Let's get business going. I'd love to.
And I'm going to have him back on Sportswire before his next show, which is February the 7th. I have a bunch of the guys in his federation that have been coming, like the TF crew, the WVWF. Well, we've been a big supporter of ours, like the TF crew. And I think that Mr. Maverick has plenty of time on his hands because he's a Cincinnati Bengals fan. So he's not going anywhere to watch football.
Sure.
So he's got his championship to defend, and he'll have to defend these comments. So thank you for that. Let's get to some more comments. The one and only Mr. Doc Holliday, GTS, TF crew. I'm sure you have seen some of the stuff from Mr. Holliday recently, and we'll be seeing him on the 15th. And any observations on that?
About Doc Holliday? Oh yeah, I mean,
you got to talk about Doc. I've known him for ages.
Yeah, I met Doc at GTS over the summer, and then saw him recently up in Connecticut. Would love to mix it up with Doc Holliday.
You should.
He's been around a long time. I've been around, some time. So I think the two unks in there, we could.
The way you said that was like I've been around here sometimes. I've been around here sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should mix it up with Doc. But Doc's kind of grumpy. I mean, I'm sure you saw what with him and Gabe in that video on those videos on Instagram are hitting millions of views. I mean, boy, I don't want to ask you about white man food and stuff like that. I don't want to do that. I mean, listen, I even had the joke with Gabe here on Sportswire when he was here a couple of weeks ago. I never even tried any of this food.
Yeah, tuna casserole.
My rant was what was my joke? I said when I was a kid, I was 7 in Brooklyn. I remember my dad, for whatever, we were going to fix up a vacuum or something. I don't remember. We were living in an apartment at the time, and he wanted me to have a tuna sandwich, and I like. Then after I'll never have it again. So anything tuna. You are the shark, so I do realize that is a good food of yours. But I don't think tuna casserole is what Mark the Shark's looking for.
No, I'm not turning that into casserole. No, it's coming out of the can with some light mayo, and that's it. I'm just looking at the protein count. That's it.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for. No,
it's
that's
not an enjoyable meal by any means.
Yeah, you need something enjoyable. Yeah, you need something for your protein. And Emily is guilty. I think she is guilty. And it is Shark Week. Thank you, Doc. And speaking of people that are here, Mr. Sayers himself. I mean, obviously, we're going to be talking about the show here on the other side of the channel. I'm very excited. And I'm very excited to be a sponsor once again. I've always supported the TF Crew shows because the TF Crew shows have always done it for the right reason, especially this show here, Carl. It's really, I think for the better causes I've seen in wrestling in a long time. And obviously, Gabe and you certainly share the same opinions on Miss Saxton that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, Emily Saxon's trash. Leave it in the chat. Everyone will agree with me.
Well,
Um,
we are getting people in the chat, so I'm sure they'll have their
that's great.
opinions on that shortly. So we'll get to some more of those comments. Zilla says hello. Thank you, Zilla. Also, who else is here? Um, is that Ron Voyage?
I'm
Um,
a little bit leaner than
I don't
Mr.
know about.
Voyage.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
I mean
Yeah,
that's
I get the beard. Yeah,
Oh well,
I,
yeah,
I
a little bit.
wrestled Ron Voyage pretty
Yeah,
recently at
yeah.
GTS Brewery Brawl. Hell of
Oh,
a
you know
town.
what? I'll make you laugh. I do a lot of these rock interviews now, and sometimes they post them in magazines. You're obviously in GTS, big time company, and sometimes I get confused to be the Geico guy, and then they say the caveman guy, and then they say all these other terms. So I feel your pain. I feel your
The
pain, my
internet
friend.
could be a very mean place.
I've realized that.
It
I've
really
realized
is.
that. My friend Marie now is probably never going to want to talk to me again. But nevertheless, follow Mark the Shark on Instagram.
Thank
Please
you.
do that. She thought it was funny. Speaking of people that I may see on here coming up Friday, Mr. Chase Wakefield. Now, this guy was about crazy guys. Now, this guy apparently had got married, which is great. We're not saying he's crazy. Well, his other half might be crazy, but apparently he had a wedding invitation. He had a wrestling event while getting married. I mean,
Oh,
you
that's
may be
awesome.
the shark, but that would be, quite the show for you as as the shark. You are the American muscle shark. What do you think about a
Absolutely.
guy getting married and having a wrestling invitational at the same time?
That's great. I mean, I'm usually like, how would I put this? I'm an electric wedding guest to have.
Oh
Uh,
wow, wow.
a lot of my friends are married now.
Well, you're the
It's
shark. I mean, you are Mark the Shark. I mean, how could you not be an
that's
electric
it.
guest?
The dance floor opens up and people just expect a certain energy from me, and I've never
You're a
let them down.
shark.
That's
Well, that
it.
could be.
So
Well, that energy might be. I'd be terrified from you and just really back up, or you know.
well, if I'm performing dance moves, I could just as easily just have a wrestling match on the dance
Well,
floor,
you
and
may have that song that the moves like Jagger. I mean, you come out to that Maroon 5
that's it.
Let's get to some more comments. Gabe is here. Thank you, Gabe. Yes. Also, Chase Wakefield. I think he's angling for his return on Friday with that comment. How does Shark Week make you feel?
It's always Shark Week around here. I don't know if you caught that, Chase. I am
Yes.
the American muscle shark. The shark beats them all. He eats them all. And when
Yeah,
the
I
shark's
did
in the
hear
house, you
that.
better watch your mouth. So, Shark Week feels pretty good
Well,
all year
that's a
round.
well. I think Chase may be here for. I think he's warming me up to a Friday appearance because I may have to
Great.
actually follow up that. Yeah, because he said he talked about Shark Week and obviously I don't know what he felt on it, but apparently we'll get to some more comments. There's thank you, Marie. Also, speaking of people that are well known on Sportswire, the Dawn of Combat. Mr. AJ Harrison, Mark the Shark, can we see you in MMA at some point? He's got a bunch of comments for you, so I'll let him fire
Yeah,
away. So,
I wouldn't rule that
talk,
out.
talk to me about that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd welcome that at some point.
that's interesting. I mean, that'd be
I mean,
interesting.
make me and Emily Saxton MMA rules cage match. Let's see who comes out on top. I'd love
Well,
to see that.
she may not come out alive. You may eat her up.
It's
I
very
don't mean
likely.
it in that
No
way either.
spoilers, but
The spoilers. The spoilers might be there just nothing left. I mean, and
it
nothing
wouldn't be a
left.
fair fight. It wouldn't be a fair fight. We'd have to
Actually,
pick a
all
veteran.
right, here's Chase Wakefield's funny line. Obviously, your chat is now having some fun at your expense. But
Okay.
I don't want to see him in MMA. I'd rather see him in Sharknado. That was the movie that I think a bunch of people were eating in. I mean, was that did
Yeah,
they
I think
they,
Kurt
they,
Angle was
didn't,
in
they
one
didn't
too.
contact
Yeah.
you for that movie, did they?
Well, we
I
got
think
a
Chris
big winter
Jericho was
storm
in
coming
it.
here
It was
this
Chris.
weekend, so yeah, I think
You know what? I gotta tell you, everybody now, it was like I'm here in New York City. I know you're not too far from me. Everyone now is talking about, oh, I gotta get eggs, I gotta get bread, I gotta get milk, as if
always.
like they've never had a storm before. I saw what was his name, Jim Cantor on the Weather Channel saying, this one you might be stuck for days. People like we never had snow before. I mean, you're Mark the
Right.
Shark. You'll just eat the snow anyway. You'll eat it like 100 miles an
That's
hour.
it.
But I mean, people here in New York, at least New York City, are acting like they've never had snow before.
Yeah, listen, I get it, global warming and whatnot. We used to have a lot of big snowstorms when I was a kid, not so much as an adult. But yeah, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think we'll live. I mean,
We got
I
snowplows, we got salt. And,
yeah, let's get to some more comments. The chat's certainly having some fun here, but we'll get to some
great.
more comments. ECW was on Sci-Fi. I thought it was. Yeah, I knew it was on Sci-Fi. I think Shark Week was on National Discovery, Geographic, whatever it was. Hi, Camo Cam. The IMF gang will be here Thursday, where Mr. Sayers will be showing up to Iowa. Hopefully, he makes it. And speaking of people that are out there in the great state of Ohio, Mr. Johnny Velocity, let's say evening, gentlemen. Johnny is showing some footage from his early days of his in-ring career. Hope you check it out. And also, Maverick responds, and he would like to tell you, Mark the Shark, that if the U.S. Muscle Shark wants the King of the Mountain title, he would give you a shot.
Title? I'll put that GTS United States Heavyweight title online. Let's go.
I'll talk to the proprietor of the WVWF. We know them, so we'll certainly.
That'd be great. I think they're above me in West Virginia.
Yeah, I think we have some new talent that have come in recently, and we have a few of them coming on here next week, just like you're a newer talent in the TF crew, and I'm sure that Mr. Maverick can pass that to the proper authorities, and their show is the weekend before the TF crew, so I'm sure I'll get to some more comments. There we go. Yes, hello, and Marie's laughing, but probably not at me. Actually, probably at me, not at you. And thank you, Johnny. And Caveman, she liked the Caveman. Yeah, I do. I gotta tell you, I know you deal with a lot, but no, I get sometimes. I post my videos on my YouTube, and I do my shorts and my TikTok. And I get comments and people say, "Oh, you're the Caveman guy. I didn't know the Caveman guy was there. I didn't know that the 1680s came back or whatever it was." And so I mean, that's what it was. And I do want to point out that as the judge from Wrestler's Court, Mark is innocent, and that's the verdict. The verdict is now we know that you were innocent. So obviously that's a wrap on that verdict. But okay, we'll get to some different things here. I want to talk about something that I'm excited about once again. And I know I can't talk about the footage that you were a part of recently in the TF crew, which was right after the Matt Pro show, because Rad Dad did it in threes. You did it in back 2 out of 3, right? It was 2 out of 3, did the 9th and the 11th. But I got to talk about what's ahead here coming up, TF crew, and talk to me about being a part of that. But without spoiling anything, I do want to talk about what at least being in the ring with a couple of individuals that you most certainly know of and have shared a locker room in GTS. And I think you know who I'm talking about here in Jimmy Controversy. And that guy, Rad Dad Radley Belwa, in his own right, was a GTS legendary YouTube champion and former Intercontinental champion. And you have to talk to me at the very least about what it was like being in the ring with those two individuals alongside Leonidas.
Yeah. I mean, all three of them were very unique in their own rights. Familiar with Jimmy Controversy and Rad Dad, of course. Leonidas was a surprise, to say the least. But yeah, Jimmy Controversy, he had his girlfriend there. Naturally, I went right over there to inform her that she was coming home with me and not Jimmy that night.
Well, we have Marie here in the chat. She would probably like to go home with you too. So I can't blame her.
It's all about mind games, Jimmy was all upset, and that's why he ended up the way he did in that match. Rad Dad was a hell of a hand. Reason why he's carrying that championship title, worthy of being champion.
Oh, for sure.
And Leonidas showed a lot of promise.
I tell you what, Leonidas has come a long way. I've watched him the last couple years, and he's a guy that's really come a long way. Really, guys like him, it's nice to see go out there and I think grow and have an opportunity to be in the ring with yourself, Mr. Controversy, and obviously Rad Dad. So I think that speaks to his character and what he's done to be in the ring with you three.
Yeah, he hung in there just fine. Big things coming for him and all those TF crew guys. A lot of talent, a lot of potential in that room last Sunday.
What's it like being a part of TF crew? But obviously, I've been talking about the TF crew almost since it just got out of the backyard. And we've seen the TF crew progress into a company. Cheeseburger wrestles Angel Santiago, Wrecking Ball Legursky. It's what a small world. You were talking about 5 years ago, and I covered Wrecking Ball Legursky when he was in Pro Wrestling Magic, which goes back a long time ago. And to see these guys come in here, Corey Duke's another one, Jeremy Lacroix, a lot of really great up-and-coming talents and established huge names, and obviously yourself as well being a part of that. What is it like being here in the TF crew and seeing the company develop?
Yeah, it's been awesome. This was my second show up there for them, and I've enjoyed myself both times, and I'm excited for the upcoming show, February 15th. got the venue somewhere there. I know
It's
been
in
shouting
it's
all
the
about you
Milford
guys.
Mall, the Milford,
Milford Mall,
Connecticut.
sorry.
Don't worry, I know
Um,
about it very well. I actually
yes,
know about it. Don't worry, I got you. I'm a
yeah,
sponsor. Come
yeah.
on.
I'm looking forward to check my Instagram for all the
Yes,
dates and
we're gonna put
flyers
that
for
up.
that.
Don't worry.
But yeah, TF Crew's been a blessing. It's nice to branch out, load up the car with some of the local guys and girls around here and make it a trip. And we went to a great hibachi grill uh, nearby the venue in Bristol there. So I
Yes.
highly recommend the hibachi
Oh.
buffet of Bristol, Connecticut, because that was electric.
Well, my running joke now is that everybody knows Bristol for ESPN, but now they know it for the TF Crew in the Lincoln Room.
That's it. The Lincoln Room, the Gabe Lincoln Room. I
Yeah,
think
it's funny. I
every
heard
Gabe
him
Sayers Lincoln Room.
on Rick Del Santo's show, the Pro Wrestling Wire, and they were talking about that, and I just had to laugh because that came up there. But I also see a lot of GTS talent here in TF, which I think is exciting. Also to see GTS branch out more and you guys going and doing more live videos. And I never forget when Jimmy and Rad were here. I know Jimmy and Rad had a match. Everybody, what a hell of a match it was in the brewery earlier last year.
Yep.
But to see a lot more of the Cheenies, I see Ice-T. I mean, a lot of, even though Emily, I know you're not too happy with, but to see a lot more GTS talents here in a company like TF Crew, I think it's great also for you guys to have another place to wrestle with live shows.
Yeah, I mean, I just said TF Crew was, a blessing. GTS has been a huge blessing. It's unbelievable the reach that you have on that show.
Yeah.
Because you're performing in front of fellow wrestlers, limited audience, and it's there. We're out there in the cold right now, like just toughing through. But you get that instant feedback as soon as the videos go live. Whether people dig or not dig so much what we're doing. It's really cool to see though how many people are fans of GTS, and it's been a lot of fun to be a part of so far.
What's the adjustment? I know you're doing a lot of indie stuff a bit. We talked about Matt Pro, obviously TF Crew. You're going to be at Titan Championship Wrestling coming up here. And you have some really big goals, and I have no doubt you're going to accomplish all of them. But what's that like then making an adjustment when you're going out there in a live audience to then when you're going out there for GTS? I know it's a massive audience that's watching, but it's a different type of show. Is that an adjustment for you to go out there and wrestle in that sense?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge doing GTS just for the camera. Really, you don't get that instant feedback.
Sure.
Working for a live show, it's very fun to play off the crowd. Like I did recently at Matt Pro in that triple threat match. The audience was like on top of us in like a theater setting. So you have no choice but to be a part of the action when you're in the crowd like that.
Absolutely.
Crowd participation in pro wrestling, it goes hand in hand.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I get guys in the music world, and and you want that participation. You want that feel, which I think is exciting to see. And I got to go back to your match. And as much as I want to talk a lot about your match, we don't have the footage of it. So like Matt Pro, we're talking to you about Matt Pro, and unfortunately, I can't show the footage of your last match because I don't have it. So hopefully, when you come back on after the 15th, we'll have a little more footage. But so fascinating to be in the ring with Jimmy and Rad, because these two men, obviously their history in GTS and their own history in their own right, and you're in the ring with them. I mean, and
It's
you're
awesome.
the guy right now as the GTS United States champion. We know these two men and what they've done in GTS. I mean, obviously that was an interesting experience, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, it's so cool because it feels like I'm finally making a name for myself in GTS. To be in there with the likes of a Jimmy Controversy and a Rad Dad, who had long runs on the show. Jimmy's still appearing,
Yes,
pretty regularly.
Jimmy's been out. He's been in. He's been out. I mean, he comes back still. He's like a shark. He just
every time he comes back, he's back. It's like, well, you never really left, pal. So,
No, that's the main joke. I mean,
he's unpredictable. He's controversial. That's Jimmy Controversy.
Well, he's Jimmy. He is Jimmy Controversy. I mean, he is certainly. I forgot what wrestler's book he was in. It was he wrestled Tommy G. It was somebody put him in their book. It was some legend. Right. Yeah, I know I talked about this before somewhere, but he's been in there with a bunch of guys. I got to ask you, coming back to GTS, I want to give you something. And I do want to circle back here like a shark, the TF Crew. But is there anybody in GTS that you want to lock up with yet that you haven't? I got to ask you about that.
There's people I've had like interactions with, like Ice-T Curtis. We've
yes,
been tag match.
Another guy that's on my list to come on Sportswire. He's definitely on my list.
GTS YouTube legendary champion right now, so I would love to mix it up with him in there. I actually was pitching on the latest episode for a title versus title match before Emily, of course, interrupted and disrupted that segment. So Ice-T Curtis is up there. I want to face the man himself. I want to face Grimm at some point.
Ah,
Uh,
Gabe did it. I tell you
I
what,
think
Gabe
that'd
was in
be
the ring with him. You
interesting.
know that.
Yeah, Grimm's up there. Any and all comers. So I mean, anyone in GTS could get it. They know that. Shark, he's not afraid of anybody, and it's definitely not going to be in anyone in GTS that I would back away from or shy away from.
But that would be interesting, I think, to be in the ring with Ice T Curtis. Obviously,
Yeah,
with your championship, his championship, I think that would be a big feel. That would be a big fight feel. I think that would be, something really exciting. And I did put the footage up here from,
there we go.
what just took place a few hours ago. And, there you are, and there is Emily once again. And I mean, just things continue to, further evolve.
Yeah, she talks the talk, but she can't walk the walk. Eventually she's gonna have to back up all that slick talk because I don't do a lot of talking once I'm in the ring. That bell rings and it's on. So
You're a shark. You don't need. Whoa, you're a shark. You don't need to do any talking when you're in that ring. Come on.
No, that's it. The shark's in the ring. He's gonna do shark things, and Emily Saxton's gonna find out the hard way.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. No, that's obviously that, and the footage. I'm going to put the GTS link up here. And Zilla wanted to point out she does not trust Grimm at all anymore. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean he's a loose cannon. He's crashing out on Twitter. Against everyone on the roster. He's causing drama between the Cheenies. It's a lot. I understand why people are frustrated with
by
him.
the way, we know the Cheenies were at Syndicate Siege. That was another thing too. I mean, I'm sure that was a talk of the town there at Syndicate Siege. I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Cheenies are becoming a pretty well-established tag team on the independents. They're branching out, so
Yes,
it's going to be interesting to see how that.
I've
plays
seen
out
that. They're really. Too bad you and Emily couldn't have been like that.
We could have been, we could have been the next Rock and Roll Express out here, but
I know.
old Hoot had to hit me with some Dawn dish soap, just breaking up the tag team. It was very much like Sean throwing Marty through that barbershop window. It was a soap to the head instead of a barbershop window. It's a shame.
Now, listen, I mean, it's unfortunate, but thank you, Zilla, for that comment. And obviously, we have someone here saying that, where was it? Shark Week came early, and I've already came to. Thank you for whoever that individual may be with a 420. I think I may know who that individual is without revealing anything, but nevertheless, there could be two choices there. But yeah, obviously, that is some of the footage. You should watch this week's episode. Now, we'll actually want to show you where you can watch it for the audience because you can watch a lot of Mark the Shark content there from it. And I actually have it here right in front of me because even though they have 1 million subscribers, you should still give them a sub because that's how it works. You sub to us, we sub to them. And yes, every sub counts. And GTS, by the way, I do want to point out, I said this last year in Sportswire, is the 7th biggest wrestling company out there in the world. It's one of the biggest wrestling companies in the world. Did we know that? Yes, number 7. There was I read it on a website. It was either Meltzer or it was Sean Ross. That was one of them. And they showed a list of like viewership of wrestling companies. And GTS at the time was number 7. So, I mean, you can fill in the blanks who would be ahead of, obviously GTS. I think it was ahead of like All Japan or New Japan at the time. So it shows you the reach that GTS has. And speaking of people that would like to show up to GTS, Skulls, who's doing some refereeing in the state of California, says he loves GTS and would love to make a trip there. So
hell yeah.
That's obviously a good idea. If you can, hit the sub button for GTS. Speaking of people, that will be a huge topic on Thursday's show. The next time I'm live. Hello to the United States, a fellow United States champion. He's the IMF United States champion. You're the GTS United States champion. He's Il Drago. You're Mark the Shark. And Gabe Sayers is going there to Iowa, hopefully weather permitting.
Oh, that's great. I've actually wrestled in Iowa once before, Waterloo, Iowa.
Oh, okay.
I had a Waterloo. There, but yeah.
Yeah. Wow,
yeah,
what
got
a
the
small
Wrestling
world.
Hall of Fame out there.
Yes,
yeah,
yes, they do. Yes.
Worth a visit, Not a lot of reasons to go to Iowa, but...
No, we love... You know what? I love Iowa on Sportswire, aside from the IMF, because somebody actually said, because I had on Ozzy Osbourne's second longest tenured guitarist and the co-founder of Megadeth, that now I should get Slipknot on Sportswire. So I'm trying. So we love... You can get... You're Mark the Shark. You can get away with those things. I can't. But we love Iowa, and no, I really can't.
No I was slander here. Sorry.
No, I can't. I was in Parade magazine. I really. So you have your reach, I have my reach. But yes, we love to see you guys unite those championships, and I hope Gabe gets there safely. Yes, hello to Il Drago. Who else we have here in the chat? Oh, there's Maverick. Definitely will love to work. You will have fun. We'll meet up soon. Yeah, I'll bring this up.
Awesome.
He's back on here in the near and distant future. And also, who else we have here? Thank you. Hopefully, one day I'll touch down at GTS. I always wanted to do a match there. There you go. Another person here. They see you and they would love to meet you.
Very cool. Very cool. Got to come
Yeah.
through. GTS is a magical place.
Yes, I had I don't know if you were there when they were there. I had it was Austin James was down there about a year plus ago. It was Austin James. It was Sean Phoenix. It was his brother. Bunch of guys. They were from the Maryland, New Jersey area, and they wrestled there. Yeah, about almost a summer plus ago, and they were down there. I don't think you were
Nice.
in there at that time, but they raved about the experience. Chase Wakefield wrestles with them, and I have Austin James coming back on next month, and yeah, great place, GTS. Love GTS. I work with a few of the GTS roster on the West Coast. Yeah, we've had a few
Awesome.
people over there in the West Coast that have been a part of that. And I know you're a busy man. I got a couple more things I definitely want to talk about still with you. No, but I got something for you because I know you're a shark. And I know that if I don't want to turn into Emily Saxton, I don't want to turn to the luchador mask that you showed us here. So I wanted to do this because it's Mark the Shark Day on Sportswire Radio.
Wow, what an honor. Thank you.
I'm really terrified about sharks. You have no idea.
You didn't have to do all that, but
I
certainly
did. Trust me, I
appreciate it.
did. We
Wow.
want to keep we want to make sure to live to sponsor the next TF Cruise show.
I love that. So you're gonna
We
have me
wanna-
back on a year today, right?
I'll bring you one.
Celebrate
Listen, like they inaugurate the president on January 20th, like every 4 years. So every year now, it'll be the Mark the Shark
Oh,
inauguration show.
That's great. I'm better than all those presidents anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we don't want
wanna
to
celebrate that.
What do
too
they have?
much.
40 something of them.
Yeah.
We can move on. There's only one Mark the Shark. See, isn't that the beauty of it? That we could have you on every January 20th. But the good news is basically that there's just one of you. I don't have to go and talk to 40 was it 45
Yeah.
presidents? A couple of them served like twice or something like that, right?
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want any of those jabronis on here.
No,
Only the big stars like myself.
You are. And I told you I knew you were the man to follow up who came on Sportswire recently. So I'm excited about that. So, obviously going back to TF Crew and you're part of the 15th, great cause, Boys and Girls Club. I'm very excited about it. They did a show in the summer and they had like 200 something people there. I mean, really, really good cause. And I think it's really great that you're going to be a part of it and so many others. And I know Gabe is going to have a lot to say about that when the time comes. And I think it's great that you and so many others are going to help out in this cause.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. That's one of the fun things about a lot of these independent shows. A lot of them are charitable, uh, putting on shows for anybody, people of all walks of life, and it's just really rewarding sometimes to have that interaction at intermission or after the show with a lot of the fans that come out. It reminds me of when I was a fan. That's why I do this. The feeling I got when I was a kid going to these independent shows with my dad and my family. It's the same feeling I'm giving to people now, performing in front of that same kind of audience. So it's definitely
That's
very
great.
cool.
I love that. I see. I had Maverick here in the chat, and I see Il Drago, another guy, great guy on in the ring and off the ring. And I saw how the people were coming up to him and the fans, and I think with independent wrestling, I always say to me, independent wrestling is where wrestling begins. I mean, because you get that interaction. It's different to me. In independent wrestling, I mean, WWE is great. I've had on WWE wrestlers, but to me, there's something about independent wrestling where you see the wrestlers up close and you see that action. There's just, to me, something, it's just different. You got to go out and watch an independent wrestling show. In fact, you got to support, first of all, where Mark the Shark is going to be, which is January 24th this week. I'm going to put that poster up here in a minute.
Thank you.
We're also going to see him February the 15th. Very important you support that show. And speaking of which, I have to announce it here because I don't know how you're going to feel about this. But speaking of people that have been in GTS, but are going to be on here now, and I'm not going to spoil what happened between him and Cheeseburger, but the Puerto Rican Prince, Angel Santiago, returns to Sportswire Radio February the 9th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, just days before the big show on the 15th. I mean, obviously, I wanted to break it here because you are the American Muscle Shark, Mark the Shark, and Mr. Santiago is going to be here, and I'm sure you won't be tuned in, but I'm sure you'll be circling like a shark into what Mr. Santiago will say about this show and in general.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't wait to see the rundown of the show. I know he's got a big match in there with Aaron Wark, I believe.
Yes.
Looking forward to being on hand for that one. yeah, TF Crew, a lot of exciting things coming. You know, this next show is just the first step, I feel like, to TF Crew really taking off.
Yeah, absolutely. And Angel has a lot to say for it. I have the poster here for it, and it's going to take place again at the Milford Mall. It's Milford Mania 2026, and it's live pro wrestling. And all proceeds go to the Boys and Girls Club of Milford, Connecticut. Get your tickets at the TF Crew Instagram page. I'll put the YouTube up. I'll put a bunch of different links up here, and you're going to see a bunch of people casted. There is Angel Santiago and LJ Wash and Doc Holliday. I mean, it's everybody. And yes, Mark the Shark is going to be there, and there it is, and that's the poster. Aaron Rourke and Angel Santiago for the YouTube Championship, and I mean, how about the fact about Aaron Rourke? I mean, you talk about Cheeseburger, but we've even went up a level. I mean, I know certainly people have their opinions about Angel, but I am excited to see what Angel has to say about this match. I am very excited.
Yeah, that's a huge get. I'm really looking forward to that match. It's going to be a lot of fun. February 15th.
I'm very excited about that. And also, Skulls had a funny joke here. I'm going to need a bigger boat with the shark. You know what's funny? I have to say it before we move on to a few other things. I know you're a busy man, but I've actually only been on a boat like once in my life. Like once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm in New York City, man. We don't ride boats.
Yeah,
you know,
Jersey Shore down here. I'm kind of spoiled.
You're Jersey. You're South Jersey. My friend Marie is a Jersey, South Jersey. You know, she's in Atlantic City. You know, in Jersey, it's different. Everybody lives in Long Beach. You know, Long Beach Island and Ocean County, and you know, you're all celebrating. You know, for you guys live on the water practically. Me, I don't go in the water. You know, I can barely go in my pool. You know, but we'll move on. Thank you, Skulls, for that. Also, Drago wanted to say, love the collection, and also congratulations to you. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Also, Fran wants to leave his human resources at GTS. What's your thoughts on that?
That's true, and you know, no one's approached me yet. I feel like I might be a good fit there as HR of GTS.
Now, are you putting your hat or your shark?
Listen, being HR for GTS, it's a loaded job. You know, it's no walk in the park. But I think I.
Obviously. I mean, you got a lot to go with there, a lot to to handle. And if you do want to hit
put out some fires, you know, for GTS.
Oh,
you're
a shark.
Reason a lot of times, you know.
I'm sure we'll have a Shark Week on GTS TV, right?
Oh, that's got to happen this summer.
I think, obviously, good for business, and what's good for business is please supporting the TF Crew here. Support the TF Crew here coming up. We're gonna have a lot of coverage with the TF Crew, and Angel Santiago is here. He will be here coming up on February 9th, which will be in just under 3 weeks from now, and he will be here at 9:00 Eastern to talk about his match with Aaron Rourke. Very excited about Angel. We had a lot to say when Angel was here last time, and I think we're going to have even more to say coming up with Angel Santiago here. That'll be February 9th, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and I know Mr. Mark the Shark will not be tuned in, but he'll hear about it because there's a shark. But I know you're busy, man. So let me get to a couple of things here first. Let's go and Il Drago sub to the TF Crew. Thank you, Il Drago. We appreciate you very much. Although I want to give Il Drago a big shout out because it was his other half's birthday recently. I want to wish a happy birthday to his other half, Kiara. The Kiari's Company Creations is a sponsor for the IMF shows. He's the IMF United States champion. So I want to wish his other half a very happy birthday, and thank you for your support. Thank you for all you do for the wrestling community and all you do for my platform and Il Drago. So hope it was a great birthday, and hopefully sharks didn't circle your birthday like the American Muscle Shark. You got one of the best names. I think I did say this to Gabe. You did have one of the best names in wrestling. I know I said it to Gabe somewhere, but let's get to some things where you're going to have some final words. So talk to me about your final words here coming up before this Saturday.
Yeah, so this Saturday, the American Muscle Shark back in tag team action for Titan Championship Wrestling. Zach Ruby and I, Killer Instinct, the Killer Gems. I think those tag team titles at Titan are going to be ours before you know it.
I'll tell you what, that's going to be the start coming up here. It's a start here this weekend. And also, all remaining tickets are just $30. And it's going to take place here at the Berkeley Little League. That's in Bayville, New Jersey, and it's to present the 6-year anniversary spectacular. So if you think about that, that was right before COVID, but here we are, and it's going to take place here. And Mark the Shark is a huge part of that. Titan Championship Wrestling presents Monsoon, the 6-year anniversary. Doors open 6 p.m. Bell time is 7 o'clock. Advanced tickets start at $20, and advanced group packages are available with $30 the day of the event. And you get your tickets now because you're going to see a lot of great stuff. You're going to see, and Jack Martin's, I know Jack Martin's very well.
Oh,
Jack
Jack
Martin's
is,
going to be in
yeah.
action. Jack Martin's, that's another guy should be on your list to wrestle. We got the Sheenies. There we go. Tony and Francesca. They're certainly a huge part of things. Joey Conway, I know Joey Conway very well. Michael Fane's another guy. I know Michael Fane very well, and a lot of Donovan. I mean, there's a lot of great people you're here mentioned, and just a lot of stuff here. And also the Sheenies celebrate 10 years of professional wrestling. So congratulations, that is a great accomplishment, and I wish them nothing but the best years, the best it's come for 10 years, 10 more years of wrestling. And if you can out there, Mark the Shark is on Instagram. Let's give Mark the Shark a follow. He is a shark after all. He's the American Muscle Shark. And if we don't follow him on Instagram, he really will circle like sharks. That video game like Jaws. That was one of the scariest movies I've ever seen in my life was Jaws. And, I had, it's funny, and you can't see it, but in my room, I have the poster of Friday the 13th. I won't even look at I have the whole framed. I have it framed. I won't even look at it. But Jaws is even more deadlier. But Mark the Shark won't be as deadly if you follow him on Instagram. So please do that here. And we'll be talking a lot about him, I know, when Angel is here, about what he'll be doing coming up on February 15th. But, before I let you go, you want to say maybe anything else, whether it's about Emily Saxton or anything else that we haven't got a chance to cover before I get to closing thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, what else can I say about the mega bitch Emily Saxton? She's exactly that. She's the mega bitch. She's been bitching out. She's been dodging the shark. And eventually, I'm going to catch up to her. So stay tuned to GTS every week on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Been having a lot of fun there. Titan Championship Wrestling this Saturday. We just plugged. Can't wait for that. TF Crew next month. Matt Pro Wrestling. There's just been so many.
Love Matt Pro Wrestling. I love what Matt Pro Wrestling does about
great
autism.
Message there too. Yeah,
absolutely. Autism.
So much fun.
Positivity.
Yeah, it's just one of the other shows where it's just a great cause behind the wrestling action. Besides that, you're gonna get that obviously, but you're gonna leave there with a good feeling. Being a part of something special.
Absolutely.
Matt Pro.
That's so cool. So cool.
But yeah, I'm just grateful for any and all opportunities. Instagram is the best way to see all my upcoming shows, and I always try to highlight and clip whatever I'm doing on any given week. It's a chore, so maybe I'm hiring a social media. Person.
I would volunteer, but I mean, I have my hands full, literally. You should see, I have my hands full, literally at this point. I would
do
love
a good job
do
though.
it.
I was seeing today all the different plugs you had going on, so I could.
Yes, you know what? I mean, it's trust me. And my mom was yelling at me all day today because my mom decided to come home. Wasn't yelling at me necessarily. No, she wasn't. But she had her own thing. She sings in a band, and I'm actually a sponsor of one of her shows, and they were freaking out because they're on a Sunday, but they're going to cancel the event, I think, because of the snowstorm. But you're Saturday, so you're fine. You don't care what happens the next day.
No.
But no, it's all good. But no, it's great. It's great, but nevertheless, we definitely want people to follow you and check out what you're doing in places like GTS, TF Crew, Matt Pro Wrestling, TCW, and I have no doubt we'll see you in many other places, and maybe in West Virginia. I think I can certainly pull a string there, and maybe Iowa again, a lot of great places, and I hope that you get to all 50 states. But it is your day today, my friend, and every January 20th, you made a great point. It's a big day, but I want to pass the baton to you, champ, and give you the floor. Anything else you want to say before we sign off? Take it away.
Yeah, I'm the American Muscle Shark. I'm your GTS United States Heavyweight Champion, and you're not. So come along for the ride. Shark's going to beat them all. He's going to eat them all. And when the Shark's in the house, you better watch your mouth.
Well, you know what? I was definitely on my best behavior here today. That's for sure. Yes, that's why I want to lift the sponsor. I want to lift the sponsor the next show. And I also have to get to next week. I have a few big bands that'll be on. I got to be on my best behavior permanently, but that's okay. You're Mark the Shark, and I want to live to see you back on Sportzwire Radio. But that is Mark the Shark. He is the GTS United States Champion. He will be in action here coming up this Saturday at TCW Titan Championship Wrestling. He'll also be in action February the 15th at Milford Mania 2026 for our dear friends for the TF Crew at the Milford Mall. All proceeds go to the Boys and Girls Club of Milford. We are sponsoring the show. We'll also talk about that when Angel is here on February the 9th. So stay tuned for more developments in that. And my friend, congratulations on all the success. I'm looking forward to seeing you out there coming up this Saturday. I'm looking forward to talking with you after the 15th. And I'm sure Emily Saxton will definitely be seeing you one way or another. And thank you for all you do for our sport, most importantly. And I'm glad that I'm alive to live to see another episode coming up.
Thank you, Tom. A lot of fun.
You got it. That is the United States champion here in GTS, the American Muscle Shark, Mark the Shark. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Your voice, figuratively and literally, all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. If you're here on Sportzwire, yes, he's got the shark and the mask. I'll be here Thursday night with the IMF guys to get you ready for New Year's Vengeance. And we'll have a lot to say about that later on. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one Global Radio, here that is Sportswire Radio, with all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. See you tomorrow, everybody.